So anyways, welcome. I want to introduce myself, and I'm so glad that you're here. I'm Daniel Klatzker. I'm the principal here at Lexington Junior High School. I already recognize a few of your faces as you guys have been coming in and asking questions through the front and so on and so forth. We always want to make ourselves available. And I know that you've been checking our online social media presence because yesterday, Jonathan recorded our Pledge of Allegiance and our morning announcements, and it had about 500 plus hits. I didn't even know he was recording. And we're actually going to be moving towards video announcements at some point this year and moving away from the PA announcements, but that's a transition for us. So again, we have some special guests in the audience. This is our trustee board member, Anna Percy. So we're excited to have you here today. And I'm sure she'll be available and around if you have any questions. She loves to talk to the community and she loves to answer any of the questions. And she has a special place in her heart for Lexington Junior High School. And she's very attached to the school, and we love it.
Yeah, I taught here for 25 years.
So in any case, this is going to be very similar to the time we spent together at the last orientation, but there's going to be some additional information. We're going to do some introductions, some student support programs, some of parent volunteer opportunities, go a little bit more in depth for this first presentation, and then some staff communication. And I want to introduce my support staff. I couldn't run the school without them. These are your go-to people. These are the people that when you have questions and you need to know what's happening, you want to take down their numbers or their emails, and feel free to take a picture of the slide. We will also post this slide or this presentation as well. So the first person I want to introduce you to is Mariana Lee. She's our 7th grade assistant principal. Okay, so if you're a 7th grade parent, that's who you're going to want to reach out to. Miss Bernhardt was here last year as well. She's our 8th grade assistant principal. Okay, so if you're an 8th grade parent, that's who you want to reach out to. We have 3 counselors this year. They're kind of shying away, but Miss Guillem's been here for a long time. She's our lead counselor, and she's the 8th grade counselor. Can't run this school without Miss Guillem as well. And Miss Wonder, who is our 7th grade counselor, she joined us last year. And then Miss Peffley's in the back, hiding in her office over there, but she's our program counselor. And so she picks up a lot of the various items for student support. But if you do have questions in regards to your students and schedules and whatnot, you can email all 3 of them. But you're going to get a quicker response if you just reach out to your 7th or 8th grade counselor. Okay. Then we also have other student support on our campus. I don't think Ms. Gomez is here, but we have a full-time social worker here, and her office is in the front. She works with a lot of social emotional needs. She is not a county social worker. She specializes in students and in education. So you know, a lot of times when we say we have a social worker, parents think, oh my gosh, is it a county social worker? It's not. They're specialized in working with students for social emotional needs, especially things that our counselors may or may not be able to help out with, right? They do a lot of academic services, but our social worker does a lot of social emotional pieces, mental health. But we also have a school psychologist, and that's Miss Walters. I'm not sure if she's here right now. And she does primarily special ed. And she works with our students in their testing. This year, we added a new support, and this is our restorative justice specialist, and this is Shahar Cohen-Hodos. And we have her here through OC Human Relations, and I'm going to give her an opportunity to talk a little bit later about how we're helping our students with mental health, okay? Because that's a big thing that we're focused on this year, is making sure our kids are healthy physically, but also mentally, right? And then finally, of course, we have Jonathan Barber in the back. Okay, he's our family and community engagement specialist. He's also your go-to person for resources, for anything that you might need in the community. Okay. All right, let's talk about opening day. What a great day we had yesterday. It was fantastic. It was probably the quickest I've ever seen kids get to class in all my years. Okay. Honestly, you can ask all of them. We had every student in class in 5 minutes. I had district people walking around, and they were like, what do you want us to do? Because they were all in class. It was amazing. We had a great day yesterday, and the day was focused on community building. So as you can see in some of the pictures, That's Miss Cooley's class. They were doing a little circle in her drama class. We have kids who were doing getting to know you activities. We had kids who were drawing in art class. We had all different types of community building activities. And I walked around during our extended lunch asking kids who their favorite classes were and what did they do. And I'm going to tell you that they talked about science class or math class or history class or English class. And I am completely confident that they came home and said they had a really great first day because it really was a wonderful day yesterday. We're going to continue with the community building for the next week or so, because we know that that's an important part for our 7th graders and our returning 8th graders. So we are going to mix in the curriculum. We are going to get them going. We're going to get those textbooks out to them. We have the back of the campus with all the Chromebook or the library. I'll talk about that. But we also want to build the community. So what we're doing is a couple of pieces to build that community. Today, during our SSR time period, we're going to be playing a welcome back to AUHSD video for the students and then taking them through a little activity. Tomorrow, on Friday, they're going to get a student planner. Jonathan, will you give me a couple samples of the student planner? I want to pass them around. Ask Miss Bernhardt to go ahead. She knows where they're at. And then tomorrow, we're going to take the classes through the student planner. So each student is going to get a planner. We're going to get some samples for you. And every period, they go through a little bit of the planner, okay, so that by the end of the day, they have the entire planner down. Please ask your student about their binder reminders, okay? It's a real complete student planner, and the teachers utilize it. Day 4, that's Monday, we are going to be distributing our Chromebooks here in the library. So you can see they're all lined up behind us. Okay, and our English classes are going to be taking our students through a process on how to utilize the Chromebook in a safe way. The Chromebooks in terms of how to write an email. Just so you're aware, I have 3 boys at home. There are 2 of them. One is in high school, one is out of high school now in college, but one's also in junior high. And I'm going to share with you that my junior high student, and I can assure you that my junior high student does not know how to answer the phone correctly. He does not know how to write emails correctly. And I don't know if your child's the same as my child, but it makes me laugh when I hear him trying to call his friends on the phone because he just does not know how to answer a phone or talk on the phone. So we're going to help our students understand how to write emails, okay? On days 5, we also are going to do our 8th grade Chromebook distribution. And then on day 8, which is Friday, we are going to be taking all the students through an assembly of a behavior expectations assembly. And that means we're going to be going over a lot of the classroom and the school expectations and answering those questions as well. All right, so by the end of next week, all of our students are going to be really engrossed in our school, okay? I can stop if you have any questions right now. Yes. SSR stands for silent sustained reading or sustained silent reading. And in our classes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and on Friday, you'll see there's a little, after our lunch period, will say 6th period SSR, and that's 25 minutes of sustained silent reading. As well as some of the teachers utilize that time period to maybe do a little bit of studying, but mostly it's sustained silent reading. And then on Mondays, we've elected that we're also going to be introducing some community building exercises activities. And this way it's ensured school-wide, okay? But mostly it's that SSR, sustained silent reading time. That's a great question, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. All right. So this year, like last year, all students in AUHSD will be able to have lunch and breakfast, okay? There is no charge. We do not do the lunch applications, the free and reduced lunch applications at the site. We don't do that anymore. We have students must have their ID, class schedule, or enter their ID on a pin pad, and that's all that it takes. I already had a student come up to me and say, what do? I lost my ID, okay, this morning. And I assured him that please continue to look for your ID in your room. And then after that, I said, all you really need it for right now is to make sure that you have, that you can get your lunch. And so do you know your ID number? He said, yes. He told me what it was. I don't know if it was correct or not, but I assume it was. So in any case, he can get his ID or his lunch. Now, our Chromebook checkout is going to be through the library. And I shared a little bit with you before about this. In 7th grade, is going to go on Monday. Please make sure if you have not done this already, please go ahead and fill out this form. We had it done. We had it during our registration process. This is going to let us know whether or not you want us to distribute a Chromebook to you, or you would like to use your own device. All right. And this will let us know whether or not we're going to distribute it. But the students are expected to bring their Chromebooks every day back and forth from school. We are going to be also provide cases for the Chromebooks here for our students. So there's a protective case that they're going to be put in, right? There is an insurance that you can opt to purchase after the student receives the device. I believe it's like $30-something. I will pass around the Chromebook in a case where you can see it's. The Chromebooks are literally right back there. You can see them. You can take your time. You can look at them. And our cases are in a box in between the library. I'll put a few of those because they're not bulky at all because they sit on there. Yes. 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 And it's attached to that request to Chromebook.
Okay.
They believe it's at the bottom.
Already requested the Chromebook and paid for the insurance, but the email information is only for the insurance payment. So I don't know whether it got, accepted or not. What is it?
Okay.
I didn't get any information, like any confirmation from email that, okay, your request is accepted or not.
So I don't have access to that list, but I'll tell you what I'll do. At the end of this, please talk with Jonathan Barba. Okay, give him your information, and then he will check with our IT person, and then we can figure that out. You're welcome. Yes. Yes, at least somebody's going to end up using the Chromebook in one of their 7 classes. And it can be for a variety of things. Most of the work that they're going to be doing is going to be through the Google Docs. Okay, so I imagine that most of your own devices at home have Google Slides or Google Docs, Word, and remember, every student on campus has a Gmail account, right? Because they have our AUHSD student email. Please tell your student that they have to use our account, our email. But not only that, we also have eCadence, which is our classroom platform that we use. And they will be uploading and checking for assignments in that eCadence, okay? And you can access it from your own computers as well, but they will be using Chromebooks for a variety of reasons. Yes. Yes.
If they're bringing a Chromebook from home, when they access the network, is there a way that's easily for them to transition to the network? Like, do they need clearance to access the Wi-Fi and to access email?
Great question. Great question. Jonathan, this is going to be beyond my scope of expertise. Would you go ahead and bring out Chuan real quick if he's in the back, and I'll do my best to answer your question. We have firewalls on all of our computers. But when you come onto our campus, you're going to be accessing the student web or the student wireless, right? And that also has been instituted with those safety measures and procedures. When the student logs into their Chromebook and their Google Sites, they're going to be going into their Google account. In that Google account, we also have safety measures that are in there as well. And they shouldn't have any problem doing it because they probably are already doing it from home, right? So you're going to have the same access and availability here. However, please know that when we do this intentionally so that when they're writing their Gmail or they're writing a document, the words that they use on those documents is important. And you should know this, that if words are used in such a way that might constitute violence or self-harm or something that might be deemed inappropriate, they do get flagged, okay? And then I get notified by this. Our administration gets notified, and that's why it's a good thing. So what happens generally most of the time, 99.9% of the time, it's because they copied some music lyrics, right? And then we call the mom and dad. We're like, hey, dad, this is what happened. Can you, and we ask. And sometimes it catches students who are not, who need some more help. And that's why we have that in place. But to answer your question, I don't think they're going to have any problem accessing our Wi-Fi, and I don't think they'll have any problem accessing the documents. Thank you for that. Yes. You got it.
When students are going to get their login information for the student email?
That's all going to be done on 7th graders on Monday and 8th graders on Tuesday. And the question was, when are they going to get the login information for their email? Okay. They actually already have it. It's their student ID number. So you could access it now. Yeah. So that's going to be a little bit tricky this year, right? Because for state testing on our Chromebooks, we have access to our Chromebooks. So our IT guy. So the question was, will state testing be on the Chromebooks or on the devices? Our IT guy automatically can upload software and upload the secure safety browser, which is needed for the testing on our devices. We will have a plan in place for those students who are going to be utilizing their own devices, but it's something that we have to work through. Okay, that's a great question. Sounds like somebody who already has kind of gone through this piece before. Any other questions besides Chromebooks for Chromebooks? Okay. All right, back to school night. I'm really excited about back to school night, and it's literally right around the corner. It's in 2 weeks here. We love back to school night. We're going to get a lot of parents. We'll have a lot of people out and about as well. And so please put that on your calendar for that evening. Yes, sir. Back to school night, it starts at 6. It goes around from 6 to 7, but you'll get email. Don't put that down on paper yet. But with families? No, you can bring everybody. Bring kids, yeah, absolutely. I understand that. Any other questions? Great. All right. One of the big things that we like to do here at Lexington is our student support. So we have a lot of various options for us for student support here. We have subject-specific tutoring. This will be starting in about 2 weeks in our library. Okay. We have homework club. I'm going to drop down to the 6th one. We have homework club. It says TBD. That's only because we have to open up the library. We have to schedule the teachers, but generally that is Monday through Thursday from 2:30 to 3:30. Okay, and your child is more than welcome to come to the library. We will have a teacher from every subject once a week. So Monday it might be math, Tuesday it might be English, Wednesday it might be history, but they'll help out with everything. And then they'll be walking around helping students with their academics. Okay, so that's Monday through Thursday from 2:30 to 3:30. So you'll get emails from Jonathan over the next week or so. After school, a lot of parents ask me about after school. Okay, so I understand how hard it is to get here in the and how hard it is after school. So when you develop your routine, which everybody does in about a week or so, it settles down. Okay, I promise you it settles down. Boys and Girls Clubs offers an after-school program. There's a cost to it. They have a transportation from the school, and then they go to the Boys and Girls Club, and then you work it out with them. So you can have that option. We also contract with YMCA after-school program. We are waiting for them to do personnel, okay? And we just got the contract approved. So that will be starting, I believe, in the beginning of October. So we're going to be doing registration through September, and we just found out how many kids are going to be allotted into the after-school program. That's on campus. So what that means is that your students will be able to get a snack on campus. There will be some enrichment activity, and there'll be some academics, and I believe they're open till about 5 or 6. Okay, and we carve out some space for them on campus. They're limiting the number of students to, I believe, around 80 students. All right, so when that registration materials comes out, it's first come, first serve. So there is a cost to it. but it's a minimal cost. All right. Are there any questions on those two programs? Yes. It is not the sports program. YMCA is its own separate program for basically after-school care and after-school enrichment. And we contract with the YMCA for this. So Chuan, I'm not sure if I answered it completely or not. Chuan, the question was, if somebody brings their own device onto campus, will they be able to have access, or is there safety measures that are on their Chrome devices to access all these pieces versus our Chromebooks? So the answer was what I shared, that if you bring your own device on the network, it'll have all the safety protocols on that network. Our teachers are always open for making appointments with them. Best way to communicate with the teacher is through email. Okay. The emails are the same for everybody across the campus. It's our last name _ our first letter @auhsd.us. You'll get all that information on eCadence, and you'll get all that information on their curriculum letter. Our teachers will sometimes they hold office hours after school, and they stick around and they do a lot of student support after school. They do a lot of student support before school. They even offer up their classrooms during lunchtime to help students. Please ask the teacher when they are offering time for students. And you will find that more oftentimes than not, the teachers are communicating in their classrooms saying, hey, if you don't understand the material, I'll be here after school. Please come back. Come back before school. But we know junior high students often need reminders a lot. So we constantly tell the teachers to continue reminding them, right? But if the student comes home and says, my teacher's not offering any help in this, communicate with the teacher, and I'm sure that the teacher will say, well, I've said it 10 times in the class that they should come after school or before school. That happens a lot. So, but please communicate with them. We also have our counseling support, and they're pretty much academic support, but they will help out with all different types of needs. And then we have our wellness center, which is what we're introducing this year. We started it last year on a limited basis, but we're going to do an open house, and it'll be ready for back to school night. And you'll be able to see it and access it. So I'm going to bring up Shahar, and she's going to talk a little bit about our restorative justice program at Lexington. Yes.
What is the time limit after school that kids, if I'm running late, I'm from Anaheim?
Yeah, for sure.
So what's that time frame, and what would they do?
Well, we typically get all the kids off campus, right? And if you were here yesterday, you saw how busy it was over there. So your child can stay on the front of the campus because we're here late. There isn't real supervision right outside the campus because we monitor it to about 2:45, 3 o'clock. And then at that point, we still have kids who are still waiting for their parents, and that's okay. Our library is open Monday through Thursday from 2:30 to 3:30. So if they want to get some work done, they can be in here as well. All right. I hope that helps out. Yes. The subject-specific tutoring, that would be on an as needed, and we would have to see if we can set that up. Okay, we don't have a specific program right now where it's going to be, okay, you need help in math, and here is a math tutor for you. We had in the past where we were working with college students, and that hopefully that program continues, but I don't have information yet whether or not that is going to continue. But we'll let you know for sure. Okay, any other questions on any of these pieces? I'm sorry, the two questions, should I repeat the questions? Okay.
I'm not sure I'm jumping. Do you offer any sport after school?
You hold on. The question was about sports after school. We have a whole slide on that. Okay.
Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Shahar Cohen-Hodis. The students call me Ms. Shahar and Ms. S. I'm the restorative justice specialist here, which means a lot of different things. It really primarily starts with community building. Mr. Klatzker talked about that a little bit at the beginning. Our goal in these first 2 weeks is really to set a strong foundation of building community within the school, because that in and of itself is really important. And especially when it comes to interpersonal relationships, my role is really to help students navigate interpersonal relationships on campus. And that comes with a really positive light. We build relationships, we get to know one another. We are vulnerable in spaces where they aren't necessarily always. And those are some really beautiful moments. And because we're all human, conflict often comes up in class, with peers. And my role is really to help students navigate that, both inside the classroom and outside the classroom. And so I give students the tools to really work through conflict, to be able to take accountability and responsibility for their own actions, and also name when they've been hurt or harmed. And I really help students go through that process alongside administrators and counselors and teachers. And I also spend time in classrooms really developing those practices with the classes as a whole. So it's kind of a personal basis and also a school-wide basis. And this year, do you want to go to the next slide? Awesome. This year, I'm based in room 201, which is our wellness center, or we're calling it our Lion Lounge. And there's a big sign outside that says Lion Lounge. And this room serves as really our community building space. It is a room where students can do two things. One is that during lunch, it's a walk-in space for students to really decompress from their days. Sometimes it can get really loud in the hallway, and some students absolutely love that, which is great. And some students need a moment to just like sit in a corner and read a book, or quietly talk to someone, or maybe listen to some music, or draw and practice coping skills. And so that room is open nearly every lunchtime for students to come in and just experience a little calmness, and gain some coping skills and tools to really navigate whatever they're feeling, stress about homework, stress about classes, or any of those other pieces. The rest of the day, I'm in that room holding those community building spaces. So I'll bring in classrooms and we'll do circles talking about, last year we talked about all sorts of things from, setting and respecting other people's boundaries to what do I want to be when I grow up? And so we get to do those pieces. And that's also where I do that one-on-one conflict resolution with students. And that is a space where students can just walk in during lunchtime. And you should definitely let your students know, and we'll be visiting classes and letting them know about this resource. But during lunch, if they just need some extra support, a place to decompress a little bit, the Wellness Center, the Lion Lounge, in room 201 is where they can pop in, and I'll be there every lunch to really support them through that.
Okay, so we have our mission statement for the Lion Lounge. We wanted to share this with you, and it will be out in a flyer and more information, but really it's to partner with students to cultivate and sustain a community culture engaged in supporting physical and mental wellness, personal responsibility, and care for one another. And again, our purpose is to provide a safe and supportive space that promotes these pieces: mental health, well-being, skill building, valuable experience. We find that this is a really invaluable part of our school in rebuilding our culture and our community. So I'm open to questions, and I know Shahar is open to questions if you have any about the Wellness Center and our purpose for it. Any questions at all about it? We're really excited to have Ms. Shahar here and part of this whole community building piece. So thank you. Yeah.
If a student feels like they want to take like a mental health day, or they're having a moment where they feel like they're having a mental breakdown for whatever reason, can they just go to the lounge during class, or is there an opportunity for a teacher to say to the student, I think that you should take some time to go to the wellness center? Is that something that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the question for our online folk was, if a student needs a mental health day, right? They're having a bad day. They are not having a rough go of it in a classroom. What are the options for that student? Can they go into the lounge, or do they have to, will they get permission, and so on and so forth, right? That was basically the question. It's kind of more of a complicated answer than just, hey, teacher, can I go to the mental health lounge? Right? That's, or the Lion Lounge. But there are definitely various factors that they can do. They don't have to just go there. So Shahar works very closely with our counselors as well, and Miss Gomez that I introduced earlier. And so we have the gamut of students who need those times in that space. We've carved out the space, and for various reasons, whether it might be through a 504 process or an IEP process, or maybe it's through just personal communications with the teachers. Our teachers are very understanding, and those opportunities can exist, and they do occur often and all the time. So we do have that space, and we found that on campus, right? It's not easy being 12, 13, 14 years old, a lot of social emotional needs. And sometimes they come up here, and sometimes we have more than one kid up here. And sometimes we need an extra space for them to decompress, talk a little bit with Shahar, get them back into class. And our resolutions, our results on this are amazing. I didn't share the slide with you, but we did share it with our my bosses, which is how many conflict resolutions did Shahar do over the last semester? How many resolutions? And what was the statistic you shared with the staff, the resolution rate?
We had 96% resolution rate with our conflict resolution.
And that's with students wanting to be a part of the conversation, right? There's a whole process where students need to want to be a part of that conversation. They come away with it feeling like the situation resolved. And there's a lot of he said, she said, drama stuff that happens in junior high. Whenever Shahar meets with students, she also communicates those pieces with parents. And let me just stress one more thing. Shahar is not an administrator. She's not a counselor or an administrator. She is somebody who is there to help the students understand and build their community. So it's not disciplinary at all, right? She's not the assistant principal kind of working, but she works with us and she's part of our whole process. But this is a safe space for kids to have that mental health piece. That was a long answer to your question.
And I'll add one thing. I'm really here to support our whole Lexington community. And part of my processes can often include parents. If you feel like there's a challenging conversation that you want support on, if there's a challenging conversation that you want support on with your student and want someone just to facilitate that, I'm absolutely here to help you in the process. And I know that you have access to Mr. Barba and you'll have my email also, but I just want to offer that as a support. I'm really here as a community resource.
Okay. Yes, another question. Mm-hmm.
So you are aware of that too?
Yes, she is. She is part of those conversations that we have about all students. So the question for our online was, if students are on an IEP or a 504 or are on some sort of spectrum, does she have access, or is she in the know or aware of that? Yes, she may not necessarily be part of that IEP process or that 504 process, but if she's involved in that process, we make sure that she's aware. Also, as built into the IEP or 504, that can be part of that accommodation in those processes.
Online question we had is, my child has a hard time making friends. How could I help them get connected to Lexington?
What a great question. And we're doing that. The question, you heard the question. The question for the rest of them, do I need to repeat that question for them? Okay, so the question was, if your child is having a hard time making friends, what can you do to help support them? I can share with you what we can do to help to support the child. We do a lot of community building inside the school itself through various clubs and activities. We encourage children to go out for clubs. We encourage them to build those relationships through whatever means, through intramural sports. We have a club rush that's going to happen in about a week or so, where they'll have opportunities to go out and find friends through clubs. We noticed yesterday, one of the things that we did yesterday, this is really cute. We ended up seeing students that were by themselves, right? Seventh grader comes on the campus, they don't know anybody, and they're kind of walking around by themselves. So Miss Gomez and Miss Shahar, we opened up our wellness center, and they were like actually walking around going, "Hey, come with me," if the student was by themselves. And how many kids did we have?
We had over 25.
So we ended up having like 25 kids in the wellness center. And, maybe they're going to make friends and bond, or maybe they won't, but at least they know that they're being cared for and that we're bringing them in. And I think that's the start of it.
And that's a facilitated space. Also, we have 8th graders and 7th graders in that room.
Huh?
And I have some 8th graders who are really excited to welcome in the 7th graders. And so that's a space where they can feel safe and try to make new friends. So feel free to send them.
Yes.
Is there any support for the kids, like how important,
Mhm.
exploring, studying?
Absolutely.
Studying is not important, or doing homework, sometimes getting interested in it. So is there any support for this?
100% there is. The question was, is there any support for academics as well, and sort of supporting them that not everything is just fun and activities, but also the importance of work, of studying, and the classes that we offer here at school? Absolutely. Our teachers do a lot of those supports in those classrooms. You're going to find at Lexington, we do have a pretty rigorous academic load. So what we do is we have to find the balance between the two. Our counselors also offer that academic support, and we're always having conversations with students about those pieces as well. Really, it's a case-by-case basis. We have some students who are always studying, and you will see them on campus during lunchtime. They are working and they're reading and they're studying. And then we feel like, hey, let's think about everything else. And then we have kids who are all about the fun, and we're like, hey, here are some supports for academics, right? So we see it on a case by case, but yes, you will find that the curriculum letters that are going to go home are going to be very academically based. Okay, great question. One more question I saw. Okay, are we good? All right, great. Thank you. Okay, student planners, I was passing it around. I shared this earlier. They're going to go out to the students on Friday. We're going to be going through the planners in detail. And it says, I will email. I'm not emailing that to you. I just stole the slide from my assistant principal, and that was to the staff. Okay, so she's going to email the staff this stuff. Anyway, so that's what it looks like. That was artwork from last year from the students. That's going to go out on Friday. So expect to have that with them on Friday. They should be taking their planners with them every day in their backpack to and from school. And you as the parent will always have access to it, and you should ask for it, right? Okay, always ask for it. All right. Any questions on the planners? Yes. Yeah, same thing. Some teachers call it binder reminders. Some teachers call it student planners, but it's the same thing. Don't. You're good. Okay, we'll supply it. Yes.
So essentially, this is kind of like the hard copy version of the e-cadence, right? Like what they're seeing in e-cadence, and all their assignments, all their project-based stuff on a weekly, monthly basis, right?
The question was, this is essentially a hard copy of the e-cadence. It is not a copy of the e-cadence in the sense that we don't put e-cadence material in there for the parent. However, all the teachers will upload their stuff to e-cadence, and they will have those home pages for you to access. But the students are going to have to be responsible, and this is part of that academic piece, where the teachers will say, okay, the agenda is on the board, please write it down. So the students will write in their agenda what they need to learn. And that's what you can go ahead and look for. Okay, yes. E-Cadence is a school platform. The question is about what E-Cadence is. E-Cadence is the school platform that our district has adopted, that every teacher has access to and students have access to. So it's not Aries. Aries is the platform that you need to check grades, and it's the platform that you need to check attendance. That's our official platform. E-Cadence is the classroom. right? So it's the curriculum, it's your lessons, it's the assignments, it's a missed homework assignment that's a PDF file, right? Might be a communication piece. We're going to be doing portfolios. So it might be them uploading that. And every student will have it. What's that?
It's like a Google Classroom.
Correct. I guess I could have answered it that way. It's like a Google Classroom. Okay, great. Great question. Okay, here we go. Intramurals. Okay, so intramurals are quarterly. We have co-ed flag football, boys tennis, girls volleyball in first quarter, and you can see the other sports. We offer sports every quarter, all the way through. The program runs about 6 weeks, 5 days a week with 2 or more weeks for team competitions with other junior high schools in our district. Sport information is going to be shared with the students over the morning announcements. Okay, so we tell the students, hey, if you want to try out for this sport, please go to room blah, blah, blah after school. If you want to participate in this sport, please go here. Okay, you can also check our website because it has all the information on our website as well. Before the students play any of the sports, they do need to fill out a clearance form before playing, but a physical is not needed. Okay, right at the high school level, you need to have a physical, right? That's CIF rules and whatnot. At the junior high, you do not need that. For more information, you can email our intramural director. That's changed, so we will fix that. Okay, it's Lisa Shandy. So she's our PE department chair, and it's on the website, and it will be in the student planner as well. So that is an error. We'll fix that. Okay. Any questions about intramural sports? It is. It's open to the whole school, but there are tryouts. So that means that not everybody will make the team. Okay. So that means that if we have X amount of kids who are playing, who are trying out for a spot that's only X amount of numbers, they do a tryout. But this is the best time for students to try out and get involved. And yes, most students do make the team, right? Most students do get involved. And if they want to be involved in some way, we always get them to be involved. So the question is, when do you sign up for intramural sports? We announce them over the announcements, and then the students will go to whoever the coaches are. So for like football, it's going to be Mr. Rice. Gerard Rice's room is over here. So we'll make an announcement, something to the effect of, if you want to play football this year and you're an 8th grade boy, please go over to Mr. Rice's room and after school. And by the way, girls can play football too. Just want to make that note. Was there a question in the back? Yes.
Will it be 8th grade and 7th grade mixed, or they have their own?
The question is, will there be 8th grade and 7th grade mixed, or is it split? It's split. One 7th grade, one 8th grade. Yes.
For like tennis, do you provide the equipment or is it provided by us?
You provide. The question is, do we provide or do you provide? You provide.
Tiger Woods, what's that?
Oh, Tiger Woods. Oh, you saw. Get your student involved. The Tiger Woods Learning Center is in Anaheim. Okay, and it's over by Savannah High School on the corner of Gilbert and Crescent. And they offer after-school enrichment programs in a variety of subjects. It's not about just golf, okay? And they provide an after-school programs as well in all types of enrichment classes. And in fact, some of those enrichment classes we bring onto our campus as well. So your students will have opportunities throughout the year. And it might be something in engineering, or it might be something else.
Do you know if they have transportation?
The question was about transportation. I do not believe they have transportation. I believe it's something you would have to transport your kid. Yeah. Great question. Thank you. Okay. Parent opportunities. We're almost done here. Parent opportunities. There are a lot of parent opportunities. Please get involved in PTSA. If you have not signed up for membership for PTSA, please do so. We have school site council, which is once a quarter. We meet more often in the first 2 quarters because we talk about site budgets and we talk about what goes in our what's called the SBSA, our plan for student achievement. Okay, and that's an important piece, and we are looking for 3 parents. I have a stack of parents who want to do it right now, and then I will reach out to parents and see if they're available. Okay. Another thing that you can do and get yourself involved in is the Superintendent Parent Advisory Committee, which meets once a quarter. And that's an opportunity for community members, parents of Lexington Junior High School to be able to share with our attendant, Mr. Matsuda, okay, and have those conversations, not just one-on-one, it's with a group, okay, but it's a committee. If you are interested in those pieces, please talk to Mr. Barba and let him know, and then he will communicate that. We also have ELAC and DLAC. ELAC is for our English learners, and that is on campus, and that was sent out already as a calendar, and we have a calendar, I believe, on here, right?
ELAC is following this meeting.
Okay, perfect. So stick around for that ELAC meeting, please. And then we also have DLAC, which is the District English Learner Advisory Committee that meets once a month. And that gives you an opportunity to go to the district, meet other parents in our community and go through those pieces on a district-wide level and those supports. Every month I do a different topic for Coffee with the Principal, and we have those listed on a calendar. It should be a flyer that went home, or it's going to be posted. And it could be everything from how to do Aries and E-Cadence. I believe that's our next one. Okay. And then it could be about counseling supports. Then another one might be about mental health. And then another one might be about testing. Okay. So those subjects and topics will go out to you. This is really introductory. Throughout the year, we're going to be doing parent learning walks where parents have an opportunity to come onto campus. We select classrooms and you get to go in the classrooms and observe for about 10 minutes or so, have a discussion afterwards, and then we talk a little bit about it. And it's a really great opportunity for parents to go on campus. We usually limit the number of parent learning walks to about 6 to 8, maybe 2 groups of 6 to 8, and that's about it, right? But we give multiple opportunities throughout the year to do that. So if you're interested in that, please let us know and we'll make sure you get your name. And then finally, we have the Parent Leadership Academy. I'm going to let Jonathan talk a little bit more about the Parent Leadership Academy. Do you want to talk about that now, or do you want me to go to the next slide?
Build your guys' tools and capacity as parents and just get information on how to best support your students while they're at AUHSD. So RSG starts next week, I think on Tuesday at 11. That is going to be virtual. That's not going to be recorded because we do want parents to engage with us on that, but you'll have multiple opportunities to participate in that, either with us, Oxford, CVA. So it doesn't only need to be with us if that time doesn't work with you. And then Parent Leadership Academy, same kind of thing. We offer different kind of modules. More information will come out to you guys on that when Parent Leadership Academy starts, but RSG starts next Tuesday.
Questions for Jonathan or I? Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Like some of these stuff like DLAC or coffee with principal, is that going to continue to be something that you offer virtually? Because for example, I work in a school too. I can't physically get here a lot, but I can attend virtually.
Absolutely.
If I put in my schedule and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Some of the items on there, no, but some of the items like Coffee with the Principal, we will offer those live streaming like we're doing right now. Yeah. Because we understand the constraints of getting here, and we want to reach as many parents as we possibly can. And absolutely, if you can be here, great. We'd love to see you. If you can't be here and you got a work schedule that won't allow it, that's okay too. So that was the question as to live streaming. Other questions? Yes.
Like, where do we bring those issues up? Who do we?
So I'm not sure I'm quite understanding the question. If I understood the question right, it's if you have questions about diversity issues or inclusion, which are separate pieces, where can you go to get support, or where can
Provide,
information and insight? Well, there's multiple places where you can get support and insight for them. Some of them might be one-on-one conversations with either the counselors or the administration. Some of it could be through the Coffee with the Principal if it's focused on those. If it's diversity or English language learners, it's for sure going to be through our ELAC process. If it's an inclusion piece, which would mean something else, then that might be through our special ed process or might be through one of our school psychologists. So there's various avenues.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. The upcoming events, like I shared, August 24th, we have back to school night. I will be reaching out to some parents to see if they're available for school side council. September 14th is our first parent learning walk. September 23rd, okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. Everybody take their pictures. Okay. And then the next two events, September 23rd and November 10th. These are really special events for our community members, but we found that they were so popular that we had to split them up. Okay, because we had a long waiting list last year and I didn't think it was right or fair that we had to have parents who couldn't participate. So we decided this year we're going to have 2 events per semester. Each grade level will have 1 per semester. So if you're the parent of an 8th grader, what it is called Lunch with the Lion. We invite all of our parents to come onto campus during our lunch period and sit down on our grass, and you get to bring whatever your child wants for food, and then you bring something for yourself as well. Okay, so that means that if you're right, and it's a lot of fun. We walk around and parents will bring out beach chairs and they'll have easy ups and we have music through ASB and there's games out there. And so we have lunch already still going on. So the kids who don't participate are here as well, but we have the parents eating lunch with their friends or their kids. And inevitably what ends up happening is the parents come out and then they bring lunch for their daughter, and then they bring lunch for their daughter's friends too. So they're all out there on the lawn eating together, which is really, really fun. So, but because we have limited space, we opened it up for both grade levels. And it's a lot of fun. We hope that you guys can join us this year if you haven't participated in it last year. Okay, and that's Lunch with the Lion. And then every month we do a Lion Paw Awards, where the teachers select the Lion of the month, basically, for whatever it might be that month. And our first Lion Award is scheduled for September 2nd. It's a recognition. It's a recognition of achievement. And we provide pizza and salad, and it's a lot of fun. And it's inside our NPR, where if the Lion of the month, they come out, we have families who come out, they take pictures. The teacher says something really nice to them. You get a lawn sign and a little paw, and then you get to eat pizza with the teacher. Okay, it's really, really nice. And the teachers love it, the kids love it, and it's really great for the kids. So we have this again was a slide for the staff, letting them know that they have 3 weeks to make sure they find their Lion of the month. So the September one is going to be coming up very, very soon, and we do once a month. Do you guys have questions on this? The teachers. Yes, yes. So the question is, who decides and who gets the award? It's a recognition. So not every teacher, we have 52 teachers on campus, and we don't have 52 teachers doing the awards. It would take too long. So we divide up which teachers, and it's generally one subject. So we have the history classes, or we might have the English, and it might be one teacher's turn to nominate or recognize one. They recognize like 2 students, okay, from their classes that they want to recognize, and they come out and talk about it. And it could be based on many, many different things. It could be based on citizenship. It can be based on achievement and effort, what they've done in the classroom. Yeah, it's really special. It's a lot of fun. Questions on this? Okay, great. Okay, and the last thing that we have is about communication. Okay, this is an important slide as well about how we communicate with you. We will be using email and what's called Parent Square to communicate to you from our school. So you'll see those messages from Mr. Barba that come out about reminders. We also use Aries as our official platform for grades, for attendance, for anything that's school related, that's official in that capacity, like transcripts or anything of that nature. It's through our Aries. eCadence, as I shared, is our classroom platform. Monday memo, please read the Monday memo. Okay, you got to click on that link though when it comes out. We put together an entire bulletin. If you haven't seen it yet, I do a Monday message. And then after that is all the information, the flyers, the upcoming events, opportunities, whatever it might be. And it's all nicely laid out for everybody. School website, our planners are a source of information. And then of course, we've been trying to put out more and more social media for everybody. Okay. Questions on this? Oh my, let's talk about COVID real quickly. Maybe there's some questions. Ms. Lee, why don't you come on up here? She's in charge of COVID as well. So here are some of our updates that I thought were important for you to know. These are the latest COVID updates. We do not do any health screenings for our staff and visitors no longer. Okay. We mask, gloves, hand sanitizers, and surface disinfection will remain available for use. Meaning that students can wear masks, teachers can wear masks, or they can opt not to wear masks, just like we're doing today in our meeting. Okay. We will always be able to provide masks for kids. We would ask that if they bring a mask, they can bring it from home because we only have so many supplies, but we will always have one available for them if they don't have one. Okay. And at this particular point, nobody makes any issue or anything about whether they have a mask or they don't have a mask. Teachers sometimes wear masks on our campus. Sometimes we have staff members do. Sometimes we have kids. And honestly, everybody is okay with everything. Rapid tests are available for students in our health office, which is right over here. And we have those available. You don't have to pay for them or anything. We will just give them to you. Okay. And it's usually 2 per test kit. Air purifiers are in all of our classrooms, and we do daily disinfection all the way through this year. And that's above and beyond what is actually required. And that means that we are still going through and cleaning doorknobs, or we're still cleaning areas. Of course, we clean our bathrooms and sanitize our bathrooms every single day, but we are doing those high touch areas as well. Okay. If your child is positive or has symptoms and he tests positive, we still have a protocol and a process for both students and for staff. We are requiring that if a student is positive, that you fill out this report. If you don't know how to get the report, it's a Google form. We will be happy to fill it out for you. Okay. And we would be happy to share with you what are the symptoms. But if they are positive, there is a protocol, a process where they do have to stay home, and then they have to test negative after a certain amount of time, then they can come back to school, okay? And so we follow the same rules as OCHCA, and then we have our staff follow those guidelines. And if you do call into the district or fill out that form, you will be contacted by a contact tracer who will help you through that process.
And since they have a Chromebook, they'll be able to get their.
Correct. And that's the access. So the question is about if they have their Chromebooks, they will still be able to continue the lessons through eCadence. And that was one of the main purposes for us doing the distribution and doing eCadence, so that we know that this isn't going to go away. We know that we have health processes that are in place. So we need to make sure they continue to get the lessons.
I got one other question.
Sure.
So, I assume you call in if they get sick.
Yeah.
You call in, if they're not coming in, do you have to inform the teachers?
No.
Okay, so.
You do not. The question is whether or not the parent has to inform the teacher. We have a process in place where our attendance clerk informs the teachers, and only those specific teachers, not the whole school. Okay. Yes. What if it's a regular? Oh, a regular cough, but test negative, then the student is free to come to school. Yeah. You know, and then again, the mask is a choice, right? Good question. Any other questions? Still a very important subject to talk about, so I'll be happy to answer your questions. All right, I've answered questions throughout the entire time, but if you have any additional questions, please, we will stick around. Ms. Bernhardt is here, Ms. Lee is here, Mr. Barba's over here, and I'm here, and I'll be happy to answer questions.
I have a quick question specific to 8th grade for students who opted for the self-study health class this year, when will they be notified about how that works? And do you have an idea of how it's going to be
That's-
structured?
Okay, so the question for our online is, you're talking about the e-learning
Yes.
class. So we have a lot of, oh my gosh, Miss Wonder's here, which is perfect timing, my counselor. So we have a lot of questions about, we have a lot of students who are in our e-learning health class, right? And so you want to know, when are they going to be notified and when are the classes are going to start?
How's it going to be structured?
It's online.
Self-study, so will they get a schedule? Will they meet with the teacher once a
They will
week?
not meet physically with the teacher, but it will be online.
Because I just received an email on this.
There you go.
So the teachers who are running the online classes, were just notified the sites that they'll be teaching at for this first semester. They will be in contact with the students, so they'll send out an email so the students are aware of what the schedule is going to entail. They are also looking at having those teachers available at the site. So 1 or 2 days a week, either after school, before school, we're working out the logistics of that. So, but the teacher who is teaching it online will be in contact with the students.
Please have them all check their student emails
Yes.
at least once a day.
Yes, so
At
please,
least once a day, because we're not gonna be the ones contacting them. Our e-learning CBA through Cambridge they're gonna be the ones contacting them and giving them those instructions. They need to check their school email at least once a day starting today. Thank you.
Great question. Thank you. Okay, yes.
If I have any concern about system being moved to my kid and I want to run the house.
Yeah.
am I gonna use an online tool or anything like this?
Sure, absolutely. As a parent, you have that option, 100%. All you have to do is let us know, and we'll be happy to communicate that to the teacher, and they will provide an alternative assignment. Oh, sorry, the question is if a parent disagrees with any type of curriculum and would like their child to opt out of whatever it might be, it doesn't matter what subject, what is the process? Can they do that? And the answer is yes, absolutely. You just need to let us know, and the teachers will be more than willing to accommodate and do an alternative assignment. Yeah. The ACE program. Oh, thank you for asking that. So the question was, what is ACE? ACE, and that is Achieving Creative Excellence. So about 7 years ago, we started a program on our campus, and information will go out to the students, where what we do is if students are involved in some creative aspect, whether it be artwork, photography, writing, sculpture, music, it doesn't matter what it is. We match them up with a mentor on campus, one of our teachers who takes them through the beginning of the year all the way through the end in some culminating project. So we've had incredible success with kids who have written books. And basically what it is, it's student driven in terms of what do you want to do with this project? Do you want to publish it? Do you want to give a performance? Do you want to present this artwork? And so that teacher helps that student as like a mentor throughout and meets with them. And then at the end of the year, we do these interviews with our staff, these capstone reflective interviews for the program, where the students then either present, they talk about what they've learned, and it can look like different things. Last year, we had kids talking about publishing books. We had a student who played his own personal music on the guitar during lunchtime. We have artwork that's presented. And that's just a few of the things that they do. So we generally get about 60 to 70 students that are in there. And it's open to everybody though. It's great.
They do, like, my daughter likes to dance. So is that
Wonderful.
something that, since she does it outside, she can get, okay.
Yes. So the question is, my daughter likes to dance. Is that something on the outside? And can she do that here as well in terms of bringing that creativity to the campus as part of our thing? Absolutely, 100%. And that's what it's geared for, right? It's not a class, but it's a program, a club. Yeah. Yes.
Are students required to do service hours?
Are they required? No, not to promote or to do anything of that nature. But we do have the Martin Luther King, our Servathon Day, where students can work with clubs and programs in the community to do service projects. And then there's opportunities throughout the year to do service opportunities, but they're not required. Yes. An extra copy for the students. So we only provide one copy of the textbook for the student. Like the same, we will distributing those textbooks next week in science and in math. They're consumables. And then in history is a hard one. And then mostly in the English classes, there are novels. However, they are working more and more towards online digital copies of these textbooks, right? So we generally only have one textbook per student. What's that? Can you buy extra? Let's talk a little bit later about whether or not you can, but we don't typically have parents buying extra textbooks, and we don't exchange money for those textbooks. Yes. The question is that he signed up for leadership, and that might be student government leadership on campus, if that's what I'm understanding. And that's our ASB class, where you have to interview to get in, and they are our student leaders on campus, where they run many of our events, and they do many of the pieces to do the community building besides lunchtime or dances or after school pieces. They run our student store. They create our pep rallies and all of those pieces. The person who you're going to want to talk to is Miss Heck, H-E-C-K. I can give you the information afterwards. I saw another hand over here. Yes. So if you need your student's email and their password, you can talk to Miss Gilbert. She's our registrar, and she'll be able to get that to you. Okay, and I think you can also talk to Mr. Barber as well.
Go ahead and email me and I'll send that over to you. The difference that you don't need information about in April or May, the information that you got to create your Aries parent account should have the email and password, or contact Mr. Gilbert or myself and we'll help you out.
Easy. And the question.
You also have that information for your students. So,
Okay.
you can always have the speaker just email myself or me.
Tiny strip of paper. And have a password. It's a very tiny little strip of paper. I asked, where's your paper? Oh, it's this little strip. And it's got your email on it, and it's got the password on it. A tiny little strip of paper. Like a strip.
I'm sure he doesn't have that strip of paper anymore. How about we have time? We have to start the ELAC meeting, correct, Mr. Barba? We're running a little bit behind. So how about I answer any last minute question if I can, but I will stick around if it's a longer answer, and then you can have that conversation with me. So let me answer your question separately. Okay. And then that way we can talk. But again, I want to thank everybody for being out here today. It's so important that you are here supporting your students, understanding how we do it at Lexington Junior High School. I want to thank all the parents that are online as well. We're going to stick around for a little bit longer. And the last thing is that our lines of communication are always open. If you email any of us, we are always going to respond back within 24 hours. Okay. And that's part of that's what we like to do, because it makes sure that we continue to have that communication open. And that, we're so glad that your kids are here with us, right? They're going to have a great year. So again, thank you so much for being here. If you're here for the ELAC meeting, stick around. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and go off to the side. And again, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it.